Hello, welcome. This is a live lesson on Tuesday, the 7th of March, 2023 from the studios of Digital DJ Tips. And in this lesson, we're going to look at 12 differences between the brand new Pioneer DJ Opus Quad DJ system, which was launched literally today, and over here in the other corner, the Denon DJ Prime 4, which has been around for several years, but is still an awesome unit. These are the two units now that if you've got money to burn at the top of the market and you're looking for a great all-in-one system, maybe to use as a mobile DJ, maybe to use at home, maybe to use at a boutique bar, lounge, somewhere that isn't a full-on club experience, but where you want something really cool that's easy to move around and to take with you, then these are the two that you're going to be looking at. They are both true 4-channel. Both of these units are also connected with Wi-Fi as well as Ethernet if you want. They've got big screens, they've got zone controls so you can play music in a separate zone away from the dance floor. They've got proper DJing features like key shift and key sync and beat grids and all that stuff. They've got streaming services, they've got built-in analysis. They're basically state-of-the-art. But which one to go for? Would you go for the existing Denon DJ Prime 4, which is now a proven unit, or the contender in the other corner, the Opus from Pioneer DJ, the Opus Quad. Quad, of course, meaning 4-channel, and that's the big thing with the new Pioneer DJ unit. So I have to tell you right at the start, we've got reviews of both of these. There's a full review video and written review of the Pioneer DJ unit that went live today. And there's also our review of the Prime 4 with a video as well, so you can look at both of those. They're both linked in the article, which is linked under here. The article is live on the Digital DJ Tips blog, which is of course the blog of the school that this is all to do with. We are the biggest online DJ school in the world. We'd love to help you with all your DJing issues, but especially today with the 12 things that separate these two units. Now, I am in close contact with the people who make this stuff. I know all about the software in this unit. I know all about what's coming and what's not quite here at launch and so on. In the same way as I've been very close to the people who've made this over the years. So I'm definitely the right person to help you if you're wondering what the differences are between these two units. I'll tell you a little bit more about us and the school afterwards, but for now, let's get on with the lesson. And if you are watching this live, lucky you, at the very end of this, we will go across to you and we'll spend the last 10-15 minutes or so just chatting about this. I'm sure you've got a lot to say, but for those watching the recording, I know you want the meat, so let's get to it. Right, so here they are. Here are our 12 differences. Look, the main difference, the biggest difference is just the look and feel of these units. They feel very, very different. The Opus Quad is larger. It's got a big fixed screen at the back. It's angled up by about 5 degrees. It just feels like, people have described it as like Atari meets Batman, and I love that. But it's got this kind of feel of being in a cockpit. And it's spacious. There's a lot of space around here. This is metal, but it does feel like, you know, kind of like the plastic dashboards that you get on some cars, bizarrely, seeing it's metal. That said, it's just a spacious feel. You feel like you expand into this controller when you use it. Very, very different to this one. The Denon DJ Prime 4 is a flat unit. It's much more traditional DJ design, really. That said, the screen at the back can be angled. You've got a choice of angles on the screen and you can choose how you want that to be set up. It's a fixed screen on the Opus Quad. This one is smaller. This one is definitely more cluttered. Look at how everything is squidged in around here, for instance, and then compare that to what's going on around here. There's a lot more space on the Opus Quad. Now, this one is definitely polarizing people, I guess because it's a bigger change from traditional DJ gear. But look, I always say that DJ gear is like a pair of shoes or a bed. You're going to use it a lot. So do pick something that you're instinctively happy with. Maybe you're happy with the kind of traditional DJ gear layout that we've got going on here. Maybe you're much happier with the layout that we've got going on here, where there's just this kind of more smooth, sweeping, cockpity feel. Go with your instinct there, because as I say, you're going to be using this an awful lot. Right, the second point of difference. The Opus Quad has got CDJ jog wheels. These are the big CDJ 3000 style jog wheels. These are exactly the same jog wheels that you find in the CDJ 3000. There's a CDJ 3000. It's exactly the same jog wheel. It's the same size, it's the same feel. That said, they look a bit different because of the way they've been presented, but it is the same or very similar jog wheel. And so if you like the CDJ style jog wheels, you like that 8.1 inch large jog wheel, this could be for you. Very, very different over here. These jog wheels are smaller, they're about 6 inch. They're also capacitive touch jog wheels, and they're silent in operation. They're very much more a controller style jog wheel. Both types of jog wheel, of course, I've got their fans. Both types of jog wheel are proven. Both types of jog wheel do the job really well. It's up to you which one you feel most comfortable with. But there is a big difference there in the jog wheels. Another big difference, there's no performance pads down here on the Opus Quad at all. The pads, much as they are up here, the hot cue slots. And this again is the same as a CDJ. This means that you've got this place down here where your palms can rest. This is back to what I was saying at the beginning about the spaciousness of this unit. Very different to this one, where they've gone for performance pads. They're excellent pads, and they are down here, so the jog wheels are pushed higher up. I remember when this kind of layout first appeared, it was years ago with the Tractor, what was it called? The Tractor Control 4? Is that what it was called? And we were like, wow, that's so different. Now it's just completely normal. But that said, it's not normal in club gear. Club gear is not laid out like this. This is a controller style layout. This, despite being radically different in look from club gear, does have that kind of club cleanness down here and the hot cues up here from the CDJ 3000s. So that's another big difference. By the way, we've got an article about this, so if you're interested in reading about this and catching up on what we're talking about here, and also catching up on people's comments, you can head over to the Digital DJ Tips blog. Just go to digitaldjtips.com, click the blog, the second tab along, and then click Pioneer DJ Opus Quad, and you'll find here all the differences that we're talking about here laid out. There's 12 of them, and we've currently covered the first 3 of these. So the fourth one is about the screens. There are, believe it or not, 5 screens on the Opus Quad. It's got the main screen here, which is an absolutely lovely screen. It's a 10.1 inch touch screen, just like on an iPad or something like that. But it's also got the 2 auxiliary screens here that have got your artwork on and your timer lapse, beat jump, beat loop, etc, etc. And it's got the 2 screens in the jogs, which are now only used for the transport control, showing you where you are, and the sticker if you're a scratch DJ to show you where to move back to in your routines and so on. Whereas over here we've got 3 screens. We've got the main screen, of course, but we've also got the little screens in here which are also used for information, showing you your label of your record, or rather the cover of the record. Pioneer DJs say they didn't like this idea, this circle, which they've used themselves in the past for various things, just because it's a circle and a lot of information doesn't fit nicely into a circle, which is why they went for an extra screen at the top here. These screens are not touch screen. These are more classic Pioneer with a kind of plastic, hard plastic top. This is a glass top. But you get 5 screens on here in total. You get 3 screens on here in total. We're going through the differences between the Opus Quad just launched and the Pioneer DJ Opus Quad and the Denon DJ Prime 4 here. And we've already covered 4. Let's move on to number 5. The Prime 4 has got a sampler, as of actually just a week or 2 ago. It's also got control for lighting built into the unit. These are 2 things that you don't find on this one. This has not got any sampler at all. And you can't plug in DMX lighting or indeed home lighting, which is another thing that the Prime 4 can do, and control them. They're just not there. However, there are things that are on the Opus Quad that are not on the Prime 4. It's got XY effects. You can dial in your effects here and move like this to do XY effects. It's also got smooth echo, which is a really great feature, which just basically gives you an echo when you turn a channel off, which makes it very easy to mix into something else, for instance. It's also got smart cue, where the cue pad that you're using can be automatically put onto this cue button here, which then gives you a gated cue for the cue pad that you're using up here, the hot cue you're using up here, something else that you don't find on this one here. So they do have different features, but I would say that currently the Prime 4 probably is edging it on features. We're going to come back to talk about that in a minute, because there's something very exciting about both of these units that you need to get your head around when you're deciding how to choose which one is right for you. But we'll come to that towards the end. So anyway, Prime 4 has got the onboard control for DMX and Philips Hue and Nano Leaf lighting all built in. This has got your smooth echo, your XY pad, and your quite innovative and quite nice hot cue. I think they call it smart cue, where the hot cue you press is immediately put onto the temporary cue button, which is nice feature. So let's move on to our 7th of our 12. The Quad controls 2 types of DJ software. So you could plug in your laptop, and you can use this with Rekordbox, and you can also use it with Serato. As of summer of this year, Serato is coming, and they've promised that. Which means that this is the ultimate DJ controller for those things, right? I've actually got a photo of this with Serato in the full review of this unit that we just published, so you could go take a look at that afterwards if you want. However, over here, this one works with Serato, but it doesn't work, of course, with Rekordbox, because it's not made by Pioneer DJ, and Rekordbox is Pioneer DJ software. They both work with Virtual DJ. Now, the reason I can say that is I know this one does, of course, because it has done for a while. I can guarantee you that Virtual DJ will have this working soon enough, because they have everything working soon enough with their software. But if you want to use Rekordbox, it's got to be the Opus Quad, because you'll never get Rekordbox working over on the Prime 4. Now, one other thing that is never going to work over on the Prime 4 is Bluetooth, because it hasn't got Bluetooth. This one has. This one has got Bluetooth built in. So you can, on decks 3 and 4, dial in Bluetooth and then have music playing from your phone through one of those decks, and then also send it out to the zone output, which means you can play music in a separate room, which you can also do on this one here, but you can't do it from Bluetooth on this one here because it hasn't got Bluetooth. Now, this is pretty cool if you've got a playlist you want to play, or God forbid, don't tell the audience you want to play a request off a phone, or it's just good because you can have a mix playing directly from your phone over Bluetooth in another room, playing some background music for a reception or something while you're DJing in the main room. But you've got that Bluetooth option on this one. You haven't got it over there on this one. So our 9th point, the Prime 4 has got loop roll. It's got loop roll down here, which is a great feature for performance. It means that you can dial in a beat loop and it will continue playing the track where it would have been had you not done that as soon as you take your hands off the controls. It's a very nice way of chopping up tracks and having a bit of fun with them. That doesn't appear at all on this one. It's quite strange that it doesn't appear on this one, because this has got a slip button here, but it's only slip reverse. Now, if that was a normal slip mode, you could tap that in and you could use the, by the way, much improved loop controls here. You could use the loop control to use this together with that to give you loop roll. You can't. I think that's silly. I want them to implement slip mode here. I want them to have something here that says use this as a normal slip button, or shift in this will give you slip. However, out the box, there's no loop roll on here and no slip mode either. And I think that that would be good. By the way, there's no slip mode over on here, but you've got loop roll, which is one of the big uses of slip mode there. So the Prime definitely wins on that one. Talking about winning, I think one of the features over on this one, which is missing from the Prime, is it's got playlist banks. So you can dial in on the screen 4 banks of playlists that you've pre-prepared. And that means that, say you play in 4 different venues, playing totally different kind of music, you can have a whole set of playlists that are ready to just quickly dial up for that venue, and then all your music for that venue is in one place. Great for mobile DJs, great for DJs who take gear with them to their residences and so on. And you can't do that over here on the Prime 4. So there's a library difference there as well. So we've got a couple more, and these are not to do with the features, these are just to do with the state of play right now. So the first one of these is obvious, but it's worth stating. This one, the Opus Quad from Pioneer DJ, is brand new. You'll probably be lucky to find one right now because they'll be rushing them into the shops and demand will be high. Now, that one has been around for a few years. If you're one of these people that thinks, oh, I bet the second I buy one of those, they'll launch a new one. Well, it ain't going to happen with this one. Who knows when there's a Prime 4 Plus or Prime 4 2 or whatever coming out. We just don't know. But it's not going to happen with this one. So if you really, you know, I think you've got to be careful here, because ultimately if it does what you want, who cares? But this one here, there's no way there's a new one of these coming out soon. This is a brand new unit. So if you're one of those people that says, I don't want to buy something just for a new one to come out, then this is the one that safeguards you from that for a good while, I'm sure. But on the flip side of that, this one here is really pricey. This is 3,000 odd pounds, euros, dollars. That one there, you're going to get for at least 1,000 less than that. So do you want to really spend 3,000 on a DJ system? Do you really want to spend £1,000 more? Is this really that much worse, or indeed worse at all, compared to this, for you to spend 1,000 less on this or 1,000 more on this one? I think there's a big decision for you to make there, especially if money is important. If you're, if you run a mobile DJ company and this is just an investment, hey, who cares? But if money is important, if it's your hobby, if you've got a significant other to convince that you want to buy this kit and make an argument for it, well, look, you could buy a car for the money you'd spend on the Opus Quad, right? It wouldn't be quite as good a car for the money you'd spend on that one. It's a big price difference here, and it's certainly worth considering whether you can even justify spending the money on this one, lovely though it might be. Right, there are our 12 differences between these two units. But I want to give you a couple of further thoughts, because if you're yet, even after all that, to decide which one might be right for you, let me put a couple more thoughts in your head. So the first one of those thoughts is quite a simple one, really. How much do you want Pioneer? Because people buy brands as much as equipment, and especially because Pioneer DJ has got basically the market stitched up from the tiniest controllers right up to the Pro DJ booth. How much do you want to buy into that? How important is it for you to have Rekordbox, to have your libraries and to have everything organized in Rekordbox and be able to play that on everything from this unit to Pioneer DJ Club Gear down to little controllers? And indeed to DJing on your phone, because there's a phone app that's very close for Android and iOS that lets you all do everything with the same library in the cloud, etc., etc. How much do you buy into that? Or, just as importantly, how much don't you buy into that? How much does that make you prickle and think, no? Because Denon DJ is still the plucky outsider here. Pioneer DJ is still by far the industry dominating company. How do you feel about that? That's going to be something that you need to consider when you're considering going for this one, which is proven, but it's still from a plucky outsider compared to this one here, which ironically is not quite so proven, but it comes from the biggest company. And that brings me on to point number 2, really important point. When Denon DJ launched this one here, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest issues that we had and that we spoke about here at Digital DJ Tips to our students and on our blog was this. Are they going to support it? Because that thing there, great though it is no good without the software. Both of these units are CPU driven. They've got computers inside. Are they going to support it? Or is it going to become obsolete because they get bored or they haven't got the money or they change their priorities and the software just doesn't get updated? Well, it turns out that to date, they really have supported it. The software has been updated, it's been added to, they've added great features. Just recently, they added a sampler to it, which is fantastic. You can play music direct from Dropbox on it. It's a great unit with stuff that's been added all the way along. So actually, I don't think there's any issue with whether they're going to support this unit. They've already shown that they're committed to this and to the ecosystem that it's from. What about this one? Pioneer DJ is not as well established, I would say, as a software company, even though it's massively dominant in the DJ world. How good a software company are they going to turn out to be? I mean, that, funnily enough, is currently an unknown. I would say we're probably all right with this, but will they develop as quickly? Will the features be as good? Will they be as thought through? We just don't know at the moment. This is the outsider. In that way, this is the plucky outsider at the moment, because this is an actual CPU computer-driven unit, although the computer's built in. And that's very different for Pioneer DJ. They've not done that before. Their units are launched and that's what you get. Very little upgrading going on. But with the CDJ 3000s and now with this, they're different architecture. But how quickly are they going to add stuff to it? We know that Denon DJ, or rather engine DJ, which is the operating system that powers the Denon DJ unit along with other units, is going to continue to be developed. We think it is because it has been developed so well over the last few years. You know, you start to trust things, and we trust that they're going to keep developing it. Not so sure at the moment about this one. So there's a couple of other things to think about there. Now, as I said, if you are interested in reading about everything we just talked about, then you can head over to the Digital DJ Tips blog, click on the blog at the top of the page, and you will find not only the Opus Quad versus Denon DJ Prime 4 12 key differences article that this live lesson was based on, but you'll also find the news piece about the Opus Quad. You'll find the Opus Quad review, and if you click into the news piece, into the article about this lesson, you can also click and look at our Prime 4 review. We've got video reviews about all of these things as well. So there's a lot of information for you to look at there if you're interested in either of these units. Even if you are not in a position to buy either of them, I hope you found today's live lesson useful. And if you're watching the recording, hey, we're done. You can ask questions underneath. My team or I will get back to you, or hang around and watch what our students have got to say about this and our community at large, because going to grab them now and pull the community into this chat, and for the next 10 minutes or so we will just grab some comments, of which you won't be surprised to know I've got bloody hundreds here across YouTube, Facebook and Twitch. So we'll be what's the word I'm looking for, we'll be democratic. We'll start at the top and I will say hello to a few people, and then we'll see what you've got to say about these units. So hi to David, GM, Jeremy, hi to Brian and Keshia, to Cabes, to Darren Double D, to Paul Southern, Party Tech, thank you everyone saying good to have you back, Phil. Yes, I've had a great holiday. Caught up with some old friends last week. Had a lovely time away. Right, so let's grab our first questions about these units. I'm looking for questions particularly about the comparison between these units, although I will answer anything that's kind of close. Can you tell us, says Steve, this is a great question, if the Opus Quad does fuzzy key mixing like the CDJ 3000? This is a great question. So what Steve means is that when you press the key sync button on this unit here, will it key sync in a way that is actually useful, which we call here at Digital DJ Tips fuzzy key mixing? I can't go into too much detail. I'll be here all day talking to you about it, but just trust me, it's the best way to do key mixing. And the answer is I don't know, because we haven't yet managed to install the software that lets us test key sync. I mean, we've had this for just over 24 hours. I will test that. I'm pretty sure it will, because Recordbox does it that way now. And as you say, the CDJ 3000 does. So I'll put my money on that being the case, Steve, but until I've tested it, I can't tell you for sure. So Stu C says, hey Phil, no messing around, straight in with the comparison. Yeah, what we're doing is we're trying to make these videos useful for people who watch them on the recordings as well, because none of us want to sit through a live stream where they're fiddling with their microphones and saying hello to all their friends, and you know, so that's what we're trying out here. So I'm glad you noticed, Stu. I hope it doesn't sound too impersonal. This is a bit at the end where we can get personal again. So Philip says, with the screen folded down, is the Denon taller or shorter than the Opus Quad? It's a great question. And the Denon DJ is shallower than the Opus Quad, I would say. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely shallower than the Opus Quad. The Opus Quad is hard to see in this picture here. Maybe if I hold the unit up, you'll see. It's wedge shaped. Check this out. You see that? It's really wedge shaped. See the back? It's quite high. And the Denon isn't. The Denon is completely flat. So yeah, I'd say definitely the Opus Quad rises higher at the back than the Denon unit does, for sure. I love the look of the Opus, says the Miss Lexi. Yeah, the Opus seems to be dividing people for sure. But at the moment, I'd say I really love the look of it as well, actually. I like the look of both of them. They're massively different units, for sure. So Robert says, I couldn't find the stream on YouTube. It's definitely on YouTube, Robert. There's lots of people commenting from YouTube. But anyway, you found us on Facebook, so that's the important thing. So Aman Talas says, I strongly believe that the XDJ XZ is still better. As a DJ, I don't understand this evolution. Right, so here's the thing, and I think this is a lot of DJs are not understanding this. This here is a new product line for Pioneer DJ. This isn't aimed at replacing the XDJ XZ, which is their flagship club DJ unit, all-in-one unit. This is a new product line. This is aimed at mobile DJs primarily, but also at boutique venues and also serious hobby DJs, live streamers and so on. I would imagine at some point they're also going to update the XDJ XZ. But I don't know that. I mean, the trouble they've got there is that if they're not careful, they'll produce an all-in-one unit that basically is better than the CDJ 3000s and the DJ MA9 mixer, which they don't want to do. But I think that's confusing a lot of people. Pioneer DJ is seeing this as for pro mobile DJs primarily, whereas the XDJ XZ is for pro club DJs. So there's the difference, and I think that's been confusing people. Anyway, the next comment is from DJ Stu C. Don't overlook the Prime 2. I don't think they're making it anymore, which is why we don't talk so much about that. Lee says the shape and design is jarring. Yep, this is definitely dividing people. The controller looks like a stealth bomber plane, says Robert. I'll add stealth bomber to my Atari and Batman adjectives that I'm seeing out there. I love it. I can't get past the space between the two play pause buttons on each side being different, as well as the pitch faders. Once it was pointed out, I can't get past it, says Lee. Let's look at what Lee means. So what Lee is saying is that if you look at the space here at the bottom, it's tiny, whereas here it's big. And the reason is that the unit curves like this. If you were to get a ruler, I'm not sure I've got a ruler near. Oh, I have got a ruler nearby. If you were to get a ruler nearby and hold it across there, it's not quite big enough. These are actually completely level. They're utterly level. This ruler is straight at right angles. And so it's an optical illusion. You see, it's the same there, that gap there. It's just an optical illusion. If this was flat, it would all look more like this, but it isn't. So that's what you're seeing there. You're just seeing, I'm like a real teacher now, aren't I? You at the back, stop it. Do you want to come up here and say that? Come on then. Oh, I could get into this now. So yeah, that's what it is. And some people like it, some people don't. It was pointed out by Mojax as well, who really didn't like it. I think it's fine. So Elliot says 3,000 for the Opus when a Prime 4 is cheaper. All I want is a S4, of course it was called the S4, the tractor controller. All I want is an S4 Mark III for around 500 and a new tower speaker for home mixing. Well, you know, this is definitely aimed at the high end of the market for sure. It is an awful lot of money to spend on a piece of DJ gear. I remember the first digital DJ controller I bought about 13 years ago. I was trying to justify spending, I think it was £800 at the time. And yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it? So Pioneer did so many things right with this one, but the aesthetics are just too much for me, says Hugh O'Neill. Yep, as I say, the aesthetics are definitely dividing people. The Pioneer is newer, but the Prime 4 is older, better and cheaper, says Una Soul. So thank you for that. Party Cat Live says it's the price. It is expensive, isn't it? It is expensive. Thank you for joining us there over on Twitch. Fuzzy Logic says, sadly, music is making it hard to hear you talk. I was going really quiet then to see if there's any music playing, but I can't hear no music. Maybe music where you are is making it hard to hear me talk. I don't know. Don't think there's any music playing here. I can't see any anyway. But anyway, maybe there was. Sorry about that if it was us. Right, this is from a spammer, so I won't read that out. Go away. Go away. Earn your audience, spammer. Don't spam mine. I just saw someone demo the XY effects on the Prime, says Andrew. I thought that's already come. Maybe it has. There was a 3.0 update we've not had a chance to look at yet. I wouldn't be surprised if on the Prime unit, that if it's not here now, it will come. The good thing about these units is they can be updated. So the whole point is that now you've got two systems, that one and this one, competing for the same people. So there'll be two software teams now implementing stuff even faster than before. We all win, which is a good thing. But thank you for that. Prime 4 is about 1,000 cheaper, says Robert. Yeah, I know. I love my Prime 4 so much, I've got two of them, says Lasher Deviants Gaming. So there we go. I like the look of the Opus Quad, says Offside Logic. It's a good looking unit and it looks futuristic, but I don't get why there's no SD card input. No, there's no SD card input. You get 3 USBs, a true USB-C around the back here, which means that you can plug in an SSD and get lightning fast SSD, then a computer USB, and then the two on the top, but there is no SD card input, which I think is a shame. The thing I don't like about the Opus is the hot cues above the jog wheels. Yep, a lot of people say the same thing. CDJ users will feel instantly at home. I actually like them. I've got to say, I actually like them. I find having used this just for a little while, of course I use CDJs as well, I do tend to sometimes just feel a little bit cluttered on controllers with these things down here, but that is utterly and I mean utterly a personal preference. Some people prefer the extra functions you get on pads, but the thing is, on standalone units, you don't get an awful lot more on the pads than you do on the way that they're laid out on club gear. That said, of course, this has got a sampler now as well, which you don't get over on this one. We covered that, of course. So yeah, it's just going to be personal preference on that one. Let's grab just one or two more questions live, and then we're out of here for today. This is from Kavorican. What I find hard to believe is that they've shipped review units with no streaming service compatibility yet. I just think they wanted to get them out there, but I agree. Maybe it was all planned and there was just a trip up and it wasn't quite ready. When this unit launched, they didn't have any of the streaming services in it, I don't think. Didn't have an awful lot that you find in it now. So when you're shipping something that runs software, it's not really the end of the world when everything isn't running when it, I mean, it works absolutely fine. It works fine with Rekordbox, for instance, so it's totally usable. But yeah, I feel, says MRCS or Mr. CS, that the whole club standard argument is stupid because DJs should be well-rounded and able to use at least one other brand. No. Our tutor, James Hype, if you watch his socials, you'll see that recently he had a real nightmare because he turned up and they didn't have the gear he plays on. DJs want the gear that they're used to so they can do the best possible job. When you're a professional DJ, you want the stuff you're used to. Having a rider is all about that. And having an industry standard is unfortunately, whether you like it or loathe it, what DJs are most comfortable with. You turn up at a club, you expect two CDJ 3000s and a mixer, and normally you get a choice of mixer as a pro DJ. You can specify an Allen and Heath or a Pioneer or whatever, but basically industry standard is there for a reason. Funnily enough, that's why Pioneer DJ says it's so happy to have made this, because with this it can break from those industry standards. Yes, it's got jog wheels, yes, it's got hot cues all off the CDJs, but the way the beat effects are done is a bit different. The way this is done is different. The way this is all done is very different. The way the looping is done is massively different. And some of the controls on here would really confuse people used to playing on club gear. But hey, they can do it because it's not aimed at club DJs. And so yes, the whole club standard argument may be stupid to you, and it may feel stupid to a lot of DJs who don't play regularly in clubs, but to touring DJs, they just want what they know, rightly or wrongly. And you know, if a DJ as brilliant as James can feel like that, I think we need to accept that that is just the case, certainly for a lot of DJs. Right, let's get one or two more questions then. They just needed to add 2 channels, says Ben, and the X-Pad to the RX3, and bingo. Yeah, the XDJ RX3 was almost there for us because it didn't have key shift or key sync. Wasn't there. You need that nowadays. By the way, Serato, get that included in Serato DJ Pro without us having to pay extra for it. It's ridiculous in this day and age. Yeah, I know what you're saying there, Ben, over on Facebook. So our final comment today is from one Okami, who says, I've had the impression that Denon has been, or Engine DJ in this case, has been more forward thinking and creative with their hardware, but between this and the new DJ A9 mixer, Pioneer is starting to impress me again. Well, there we go. You've got a decision to make if this is a unit that interests you, because it is pretty impressive, but it's also pretty damned expensive. And this one here, despite being a little bit older, quite a lot older, is still a truly impressive unit as well. If you want to know the key differences between these 2 units, then you know what to do. Head over to the digitaldjtips.com website, click on Want the Blog or just the blog, and then click on Pioneer DJ Opus Quad versus Denon DJ Prime 4, and you can read all about it there. And if you're watching this in the future and it's no longer on the top of the site, click on the search bar at the top and just type in exactly what you're seeing there, and it will come up for you. And if you're interested in learning to DJ with us here at Digital DJ Tips, then you know what to do. Click the join link. There's one underneath here. You'll get a copy of our book, which is the best-selling book on Amazon on how to DJ. You can decide if the way we teach is for you. And if you like the way we teach, then you also know what to do. Head back to the Digital DJ Tips website, click on the DJ courses link at the top, scroll down, and if you're new to all of this, just click on the complete DJ course. This is the course of the book and the one which will teach you everything you need to know to be able to DJ like a pro. Can't say fairer than that. It's been a pleasure presenting this for you today. I hope you found it useful. So until the next live lesson, this is Phil in the Digital DJ Tips studio saying get good, get out there, make the moments. Oh, and watch out, because on Thursday, we're launching a brand new DJ course. Join up and we'll let you know all about it by email. Till then, bye-bye.